Okay. All right. So I guess we're all over here now. Well, let's see who files on in. Guess I'm just gonna have to wait. Hey, Dustin, how you doing? Well, had some problems. All right, see who else is here. Hey, all right, Thomas Rowe came in, Liza, GL, Stacy, Jesus fucking Christ, I don't know what that was. Basically, as far as I can tell, the primary YouTube ingest server just fucking died. Because I was like, oh shit, maybe my internet is all fucked up. But no. Upload speed's just dandy. No, it wasn't you, Cat. Wasn't even me. It was YouTube. YouTube is responsible for that bullshit. I don't even know. Oh, boy. What? Yeah, what a way to start a stream. What editor do I use? I use the OBS. The OBS is usually really, really reliable. Yeah, wonders of modern technology, baby. Yeah, that's how that shit goes. Oh boy. Man, I'm having trouble the last couple of days because as a lot of you know, I've been working in RPG for the last few years, and I really want that project to get done. Hey Jack, what's going on? So update, mom ate the bill, make our finances a bit more unstable. She avoided looking bad, and I have $100 donation. Feel like a liar and a scumbag. Hold on to it. Yeah, I'm on the TikTok now, as you can see, Real Count Jackula. I'm also on Blue Sky, Count Jackula. Got my Count Jackula back in a weird kind of asinine way. Well, it's all coming together. It's all coming together, finally. Oh, boy. All right, it looks like everyone who was in the old one is now in the new one, so that's good. Hey, Joe. How you doing? Oh, man. I'm just getting by. I'm getting by. So yeah, I've been writing a lot on that game that I've been writing, and man, you feeling down? Does anyone have any sad song recommendations? Oh, I've got too many. There's "Do You Feel It" by Chaos. You know, they used that one on Rick and Morty when Rick tried to commit suicide. That's pretty sad. "Soothsayer" by Buckethead's also pretty one of my favorites. That has no lyrics. It's just a crying guitar instrumental. Yeah. So basically, I have to write up the setting information, and I keep running into this problem where I'm like, I don't know what to write. "Hurt" by Johnny Cash is a good sad song, yeah. Technically, it's the Johnny Cash cover of the Nine Inch Nails song, "Hurt." You know, as Trent Reznor says, I think I may have written the greatest Johnny Cash song of all time. And while that sounds like that's a complete brag, it's like, I don't know that you're wrong, Trent. Like, if that had been a shit cover or a bad song to begin with, then there would have been a problem. So yeah, what to write, and I don't know what's stopping me because I got it all in my head. You know, it's all in my head. So why is it having such a hard time like coming to paper? Um, yeah, right like that. Just like that. You know, long silence, your brain just going, duh. And then you want to like distract it with something because you realize you're just sitting there doing nothing. Well, if you want a song that'll when you're done enjoying being sad, a song that I recommend is "Do You Want to Taste It" by Wigwam. Countdown to your dreams. You know, they used it for the opening of Peacemaker, you know? got a dance number to it. You can see John Cena's really bad dancing. You know? It's pretty good. The second season of Good Omens also just started. Check that out when you're ready to not be sad. Um, good stuff. You know, for me, like another good, like sad song has always been "One" by Metallica. I mean, that may be more of a guy one. You know, that may be more of a guy one, but that one was always really sad to me. There's also probably one of the saddest songs ever written is John Coltrane's Space Doggedy, which I might actually be able to play for you. I don't know that that's copywritten. Let's see. Yeah, let's chance it.
The cage is very small, a tiny silver ball that makes you a hero. The moment you step inside, the world is watching you. What you're about to do will live on forever, even though you'll be dead and gone. Buckle up, we're about to turn the engines on. Hello from Sputnik 2, I am receiving you. Thanks for the dog food, I'm somewhere above you now. Guess what, Malash and cough, I took the collar off. I'm holding my own leash and walking myself outside this door. I don't think I wanna be a good dog anymore.
Yeah, by the way, the
Now I'm floating free in the
Cosmo the Space Dog in Guardians is like a
bright enough to light the dark, and it's so high up here, and the stars so clear. Are they close enough? Will they hear me bark from here? Moscow to Sputnik 2, I think we're losing you. Your life signs are fading. We can't really say that we're surprised. It's a shame, there is always something that gets compromised. Now I'm floating free, and the moon's with me, and it's bright enough to light the dark, and it's
that's a really good one. Uh but yeah, Cosmo is like because the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie is all about animal experimentation. You know, um, ah, Wake Me When September Ends. That one didn't get me as much. I was a little too old when it happened. Like, I was already completely an adult when that song came out. Hey, that blonde artist. How you doing? Yeah, let's see. He did another one about Kermit the Frog. Oh no, it wasn't him. It wasn't John Coltrane, it was another guy. Did a really sad song about Kermit the Frog. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is great. It's really great. It's one of the things I think is so funny is a lot of people are talking like there's a lot of like online like hoo-ha about whether the current Marvel stories are any good. And I'm like, yes. Yeah, a lot of them are really good. Guardians of the Galaxy is excellent. It's at least as good as it's consistently as good as the first two. I've never seen a trilogy maintain its quality of storytelling like Guardians of the Galaxy. Because usually there's a dip. Like, even everybody who thinks like the original Star Wars trilogy is just absolutely fucking tits, they're of the opinion that like, Return of the Jedi's like not quite as good, not as good as Empire. Like it's a little bit of a step down as far as like an overall movie. I like to preface that by saying that doesn't mean it's bad at all. It's still Return of the Jedi is still it's still a great movie. You will kick yourself for not watching it. But Guardians of the Galaxy, the third one is as good as the first one. And the second one is as good as the other two. Yeah, they're very emotionally literate. That's a good way of putting them. Casio Gladio, like, yeah, no, absolutely. They are very emotionally intelligent. It's the thing all of his movies are trying to get at. Is an emotional core. That's his strength. That's Gunn's strength. Even when you go back and watch some of his earlier flicks, I mean, a little less so Romeo and Juliet, which he didn't direct. He just wrote that one. But all the movies he directed, I think he was the assistant director on Romeo and Juliet, but all the ones that he directed himself are really emotionally literate. Yeah, Guardians 2 is your gold standard for superhero flicks. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Yeah, they're really good. Man, that his Suicide Squad was so amazing. I was happy looking at the stars. It's like, oh, fuck you, Gunn. Fuck you, Gunn. You made me feel bad for Starro. You asshole. How dare you? How dare. Slither is just a lot of fun. The emotional resonance of that is just like pure entertainment, He wanted to do a Night of the Creeps, He wanted a movie that was like that, and he did it. You weren't expecting the emotional gut punch of the second one? Oh, dude. So good. One other thing that's interesting about the third movie is in the trilogy, they do this handoff. And you don't notice that they've done it in the second movie until you get to the third, which is in the beginning, the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy, it's about Peter Quill. In the third movie, it's all about Rocket Raccoon. And it's done extremely well. You just find yourself just buying it because it's not like we ignore the other characters. It's just that the real emotional core of the movie becomes Rocket Raccoon. And when you put them all in sequence, you're like, oh, I see how they did that handoff. Like he had planned this. He's like, in the second movie, it's as equally about Quill as it is Rocket. A little more Quill just because, like, that's who we've been following. But by the third movie, that's pretty much Rocket Raccoon's movie. There is stuff that happens with Peter Quill that's very important. About the only thing that, and the other thing I really liked is even though they make reference to the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and it's in canon, it's not required viewing. Like there's only one thing that I wish they had reestablished, which is that Peter and Mantis are brother and sister. They're like half siblings because Ego is both of their fathers, or was. So it's really super good. Like everything else, you could just sort of read between the lines as to what happened. But it would have been like, if you know that Mantis is like Peter's sister, it gives what her character does a little more oomph. Because she does some crazy shit and you're just like, whoa, why is she going like so nuts? And it's because she's like, he's my only relative. She is connected to him in a way that she isn't with the other Guardians. Oh yeah, like putting a tumor in her brain. Oh my God. And fucking Kurt Russell, like he killed that. He killed it. So good. Hey John, how you doing? Yeah, but she refers to Peter as her brother a couple of times, and if you didn't see the thing that might feel like it comes out of nowhere, like you can kind of read between the lines as to what she's talking about, but like the holiday special is one that really established it. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that more in the movies, but the thing is that we are definitely good. Peter Quill's Star-Lord is definitely going to continue in the MCU, and it is strongly hinted that Mantis will be as well. So that might still happen. But if there's another Guardians movie, the entire roster, with the exception of Groot and Rocket, has changed. Like that, the entire roster of that team, with those two exceptions, changes by the end of that movie. You're not feeling camera. Are you feeling voice friendly? Could you get on voice there, John? Am I hyped over James Gunn doing The Authority? Here's the thing. The only storylines of The Authority that I like are the ones written by Warren Ellis. The rest of that comic can kiss my ass. kiss it. Just kiss the whole thing. I've got some hemorrhoids that need licking. Oh, that's right. Sean Gunn is probably, yeah, Sean Gunn's still there, I think. You know, I forget his character's name, though. So that's how I feel about The Authority, which is if he's going to do something inspired by Warren Ellis, I'll give it a chance. But overall, I think The Authority is dumb. You know, it was really cool for a half second. It was really cool when Warren Ellis was doing it, but everything like after it just kissed my ass. You know, and everything before it is just pointless. And also, I'm a little bit worried because, like, as far as I don't know if Superman: The Authority is good. I haven't read it. One of the things about The Authority is I find myself going, I'm sure I know James Gunn is good, but I feel like we're just going to be doing like Zack Snyder's Justice League again. But then again, James Gunn don't tend to do those style of movies. He tends to do something else. So I don't know. Basically, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, that'll definitely be a challenge. That'll be that'll be a challenge for Gunn. You know, because I don't know how you do that movie. I don't know how you do that movie in a way the audiences will connect with. Creature Commandos and Blue Beetle look cool. Yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah, that's the other thing. Kingdom Come is like, that's a really serious story. Like, I could see James Gunn doing The Dark Knight Returns. Like, I could see him doing that easy and it being fantastic. You know, because there's just enough like sarcasm and like black humor in that it would, you know, because that's kind of his stock and trade. So there's something in that you know he's really good at. You know, like Kingdom Come and Authority are very serious. Like, those are like dramas. There's a comic series I would love James Gunn to do, but no one's gonna ever ask him to do it because everyone forgot the fucking comic. And that's Grimjack. I would love a fucking James Gunn Grimjack. That would be fantastic. That would be just right. James Gunn doing Hitman would also be awesome. Hell, another director I could think of doing Hitman real well. Hey, thank you for the subscription, John Johnster. Yeah, so John, are you okay with like just being on voice? Yeah, Grimjack 1M. It is about an interdimensional mercenary. It's about an interdimensional mercenary who lives in an interdimensional city called Sinisher. A city where all realities eventually come into phase. Like, Some realities are permanent and others just come in and drift away. Well, I think another guy would really be able to do Hitman very well would be Jordan Peele. If he ever wanted to do a superhero story, he wanted to do a comic book movie, like he should do Hitman. You just want Chair-9? All right, yeah, no problem. Noonan. Oh, wait, Noonan's is getting an animated spinoff? Man, why did they just call it Hitman? Okay, so they got a series order. Oh, on HBO Max. Oh, back when it was HBO Max. Oh man, no, it's not. Fuck. Oh, it's gonna revolve around Kite Man. I mean, that's okay, maybe, but fuck. Not Tommy Monahan. You know, Tommy Monahan in the Hat, Nat the Hat. Not gonna do that. What about Hacken? What about Chang? You know? What about Bator? What about the six pack? Come on, the defenestrator carries a window so you can throw you through it, because that's a superpower. So you ability to throw you through windows. That'd be awesome. Oh, right. I meant Section 8. Six Pack is one of the is the leader of Section 8. Right. Yeah, let me see. If I remember, it is Six Pack, the Defenestrator, the Dog Welder. He welds dogs to you. Bueno Excelente, Friendly Fire, and I think Jean de Baton, who has the power of Frenchiness. Oh, man. All-Star Section 8. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Oh, it's by Garth Ennis and John McCrae. Oh, that means it might actually be good. Sorry, I was okay. That means it might actually be good. Okay. I think there's another guy called the Spittoon. Is it the Spittoon or is it Phlegm? I can't remember. I do remember they defeated Lobo. They kind of defeated Lobo with the power of homophobia. It was weird. Oh, and that's right, Shakes with the power, basically with the power of fucking alcohol tremors. Jean de Baton. Yeah. These were guys in the late '90s, early 2000s. There was so it was this DC comic called Hitman, and this is where Noonan's Bar kind of comes from, where it was about a bar in Gotham City where a bunch of like the mid-tier villains hung out. Like a bunch of mid-tier, like down on their luck kind of characters fucking hung out. Chief among them being this guy called Tommy Monahan, who's a hitman. He doesn't have, his superpowers aren't very powerful. He has very limited telepathic ability. Like he can read minds if he concentrates. But he can only read surface thoughts. And he has to be pretty close to you. Phlegm gem. Okay, that's it. And he got his powers because he fucking, if I remember correctly, like he has an encounter with Etrigan. He has an encounter with a demon that like gives him some of his minor powers. Yeah, and if you need a henchman or an assassin, you go to Noonan's, and Hitman's all about like Noonan's regulars. And it's just all about they're really off. It's very Harley, like the Harley Quinn cartoon owes a lot to Hitman. Like it's that exact same type of humor. But occasionally, because Garth Ennis actually is a really good writer. When he when he challenges himself, they would have these really good dramatic beats, but for the most part, it was like 14-year-old boy comedy. Oh, that's right, the Dominators. Yeah, it was borderline Vertigo, but like part of the joke is that major DC characters would constantly be making guest appearances. Like he wouldn't be able to like kill Green Lantern or anything, but like they would show up. Zombie Night at Gotham Aquarium is one of the best arcs in that fucking comic. It's one of the best. Like, cause it's just pure what the fuck. Cause it's they're all these like killers, right? Like that's the other thing about Hitman. Like they fucking kill people. Like imagine if like 100 Bullets was a comedy. If you've read 100 Bullets, the scenes with the zombie harp seals. Dude, I want a Hitman fucking animated show. I want a Hitman thing on the Spig or the silver screen just for Zombie Night at the Gotham Aquarium. Oh man, so good. You know what? It's a lot closer to Garth Ennis also wrote the original comic for The Boys, but Hitman's a lot closer to The Boys, the television show. Which is why it still works even though it's toned down. Because in The Boys comic, it's so hateful. It's so mean and hateful. Like even like a sarcastic guy like me is like, dude, you've gone too far. Like you went way too far with this. So I kind of prefer it when like someone's. I prefer when Garth Ennis kind of has to hold himself back a bit, because him going right into the territory that he shouldn't be is really good. Like if you tell him to keep it PG-13, it's going to be PG-13 bordering on R. But if you give him carte blanche, there's no foil. Like, he needs a foil. Like, as a writer, he needs a foil. Like, he needs that thing to be fighting against. Otherwise, it's not very good. Yeah, like when he has nothing resisting him, he's just a complete edgelord. His writing comes off as super edgelordy, and it not in a good way. When he's got something resisting him as a writer, that's when his edgelordiness works, and it works really well. Crossed? I thought Crossed was Warren Ellis. Oh, no, no, no. There was, I'm thinking of, yeah, I got it confused with Jack Cross. Sorry. Yeah, Garth Ennis did do a comic called Crossed. I haven't read that one, although I have read Jack Cross by Garth Ennis. That one's okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Actually, like Garth Ennis's like Hitman meets Superman is one of the best comics ever written. It's one of the best comics ever made. Certainly one of the best superhero comics ever made. Yeah. Hey, Jimmy Jam, how you doing? Oh man, yeah, we were just talking about like Garth Ennis and the boys and Hitman, and how I wish that they did a cartoon, a Hitman cartoon. Just so I could fucking get the animated or live action version of Gotham Zombie Night at the Gotham Aquarium. Hitman meets the jail. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. But Hitman was always good. You all right? Cool, cool, cool. Oh man, don't read Cross. It'll depress you a lot. You got it. Yeah. Oh man, speaking of comics, there was this comic I wanted to check out, and I might still check it out, but now I'm not so sure I want to. Um, so I found out offhandedly. I saw this ad in the back of another comic for a comic by Image called Per Evil, and it's got all of these like multi-eyed Sphinx cats on it, and I was like, ooh. Is it a supernatural story about multi-eyed Sphinx cats? That sounds awesome. But all the promotional material for it doesn't feature that. And I'm like, but it's called Per Evil. It should be evil cats doing things. Like, I understand you probably got a human character who has to like either take care of or stop the evil cats. But I was looking at like the preview page and the cats don't appear anywhere in any of the 5 preview pages. And I'm like, what? It's called Per Evil. And then I'm looking at all the copy, and the copy doesn't make mention of the cats at all. And I'm like, it's called Per Evil. Why would you not promote the most obvious selling point of the story you've already got? The Boys is an 80s Saturday morning cartoon. Oh, they did that. They did that. They did that animated episode. Actually, I don't think it was an episode. I think they did like a spin-off series that was all animation. Have I seen Good Omens 2 yet? Not all the episodes that are out. Yeah, and it's by 2 comic. Yeah, Per Evil is done by 2 comic creators I actually really like. So I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, you got it, Mousedon. Per Evil, you know. And I was just sort of like, no, you could do like that. Could be a great horror story with like a kind of a cute twist. You know, like an adorable twist, you know, but it's like darkly adorable, you know, like it was what I was kind of, you know, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm into that. You know, what about Twisted Metal? Okay, here's the thing about Twisted Metal. I was not interested in Twisted Metal at all until I saw the scene where fucking what's his name? What's his name? Anthony. You know, guy who plays Falcon. It's Anthony Michaels. Anthony Mackie, where Anthony Mackie runs into the clown guy, who is voiced by fucking it's David Arnett, isn't it? Old BoJack Horseman. Or is it Will Arnett? Yeah. It's Will Arnett. When I saw Anthony Mackie and the guy who actually physically plays the clown, Sweet Tooth, and Will Arnett's voice, I was like, okay, now I'm interested. Now I'm interested. Yeah, Samoa Joe. That's right. Samoa Joe physically plays Sweet Tooth while Will Arnett fucking plays the voice. And I'm like, because like he always has that mask on, so they don't have to worry about lip syncing. Just as long as like Samoa Joe does his eye thing, you know? So it really worked. And I'm like, okay, I might need to check this shit out now. Now I might need to check this shit out. You know, because it was like, I don't hate Twisted Metal, but it wasn't necessarily my favorite video game. You know, and I was kind of wondering, like, what kind of story are you gonna fucking make out of Twisted Metal? And I found out it was a series. I was like, What? How are you going to stretch that shit out into a series, man? Yeah, that was my big question. And no, looks like it might actually be really, 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 really good. You know, I loved that scene for sure. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll check this out. You know, for that matter, I didn't see Carnival Row season 2 either, and I was really up for that. I really wanted to see that. Um, I mean, although it has been like 3, 4 years since the first season, so hey, Synthog. Yeah, but I mean, like, not everyone can direct a car crash. And even fewer can direct a car crash while also telling a good story. I mean, we've got George Miller, probably top of the heap. Um, below him would be right below him would probably be John Landis, but no one's gonna let him direct shit anymore. Um, and right under him would probably be uh, hold on. Let's see, who was that guy? He directed right under him would be James Wan and then Justin Lin. That would be, that's kind of the short list of people who can actually direct a decent movie while still making car crashes fun. Oh, the director of the show is the guy who directed the Deadpool movies? Ooh, I did not know that. Yeah, I like Dominic. I like fucking Gone in 60, the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds a lot. I like that movie a lot, but the car crashes are not the best. The thing that really works about that movie is not so much the car chases, so much as the heist itself. The heist stuff, because the car action in that movie is only kind of, it's all right. It's good enough. But the hijinks, the heist hijinks are really good. Yeah, John Landis, a Twilight Zone movie, and the Blues Brothers. Yeah, that's why I put him on the short list, of guys who could tell a good story while also directing an amazing car crash because of Blues Brothers. Yeah, if you're in a John Landis movie, don't get to the chopper. Don't get to the chopper. Don't do it. Oh my God. Yeah, the Twilight Zone movie was multiple directors, but the sequence where the two people died, where the guy and the two kids died in the helicopter, was John Landis's. Twilight Zone, the movie. Yeah, it was John Landis, George Miller, Joe Dante, and Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, I think, did the Cornfield. You can. Oh no, it was Kick the Can. Kick the Can was done by Spielberg. Jan Landis did the wraparound segment with. You want to see something really scary? Because it's got his like. It's got the John Landis like. It's got the John Landis like tropes. Like the John Landis trope is we emerge from darkness while classic rock plays. You know, Creedence Clearwater is preferred. You know, because that's how because that's how fucking American Werewolf starts, and it's how Twilight Zone starts. You know, in American Werewolf, it's Bad Moon Rising, and in Twilight Zone, it's Midnight Special. Yeah, Joe Dante did the Cornfield. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and of course, like George Miller did Nightmare at 20,000 feet, which, damn. It's such a great fucking remake of that episode. Yeah, I actually really like Kick the Can. It's very Spielbergy, it's very schmaltzy. I fucking love it. I have always loved it. But don't get me wrong, George Miller's like they saved the best for last in that thing. Clearly. Oh god, that gremlin or that djinn or whatever it is, he's such an asshole. You know, I haven't seen the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone episodes. I'm told they're really good. I don't know why. I just never watched it. I think it was on like it must have been on a network I wasn't subscribed to or something. Yeah. There's something on the wing. There is so much great George. That's a sequence no one else could have directed. There is so much filmmaking in a George Miller flick. Like even in fucking like the Babe movies, you know? There's a lot of filmmaking, you know, but like when you really examine his segment in the Twilight Zone movie, you're like, "Oh yeah, this couldn't have been done by anybody but George Miller." You know, man, yeah, he did direct Happy Feet. A strangely dark movie. It's about singing and dancing penguins. But you know how, like, even in Babe, there are like those really dark sequences, You know, like Happy Feet does the same thing, except it goes on for like 10 minutes. Yeah, George Miller is very versatile. But in my opinion, George Miller is best when he George Millers. Oh, which one's the best? Oh, dude, that's not fair. That's not fair. That is not fair. Creep Show. I'm gonna go with Creep Show. It's the original Creep Show is the highest quality and most consistent. Like there are no stinkers in the original Creep Show. Like even Twilight Zone, like as good as it is, that first sequence, you know, because the actors fucking died and they didn't finish it, kind of is a bit of a stinker. It gets its point across, but like it's not that great. You know, especially compared to the ones that come after. But Creep Show, the original Creep Show, like none of those stories are bad. I got my cake. It's Father's Day. Like that is the weakest of the segments. In my opinion. In my opinion, that's the weakest of the segments, and it's not weak. But if I have to make a worst, it's the worst best one. I've not seen the Amicus anthologies. Yeah, I love the original Tales from the Hood, but it's not. That's a different kind of movie. Like it's different. Oh yeah, the Raft and the Creep Show. The Raft is great. The Raft and Creep Show 2 is great, but like what Chief Woodenhead? That shit drags. You know, I'm like, Eesh. I think you should have cut this one down, baby. This is taking too long. But like the Raft is really good. Thanks for the Ride is not that good, but it it's not that good in totality, but it has, you know, thanks for the ride, lady, which is what elevates it and makes it fantastic. Thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride, lady. Oh, man. But like everything until that happens is really just not good. You know, let's see. That was. Were there only 3 in Creepshow 2? Like I thought there were 4. Oh, nope, it's just 3. It's just 3. Yeah. Yeah, the Raft is the one that's the most is consistently good the entire way through. Chief Woodenhead is a snooze fest, and Thanks for the Ride, Lady is really only it doesn't get good until that guy shows up, which takes a good like 6 minutes. Like it takes a good chunk of time for that guy to show up. Yeah. That's right. It only has 3 stories, but it has a longer wrap, has an animated wraparound sequence. I like a lot. Oh, the Cabinet of Curiosities. Holy shit, that one's fantastic. Yeah, no stinkers in that one. I can hold my breath a long time. Yeah, that one could have been really boring, but it does not overstay its welcome. And having Leslie Nielsen be the main guy was that, oh, he carries that segment. He fucking like he needs some lumbar support for all the carrying he's doing and he's doing it great. But like everything just came together like so well in the first Creep show. Like there's a consistent visual quality. There are consistent visual elements. You know, like the way they do the comic panels and the splash pages and all that shit. Oh, so good. You know, and of course it has that great ending. You know, like want another pain in the neck, Dad? Dong, da It's like fuck yes. That's why God made fathers, babe. I wouldn't see an anthology that had that consistent a tone since until like Trick or Treat. Yeah, Tales of the Dark Side is better Creepshow 3 than Creepshow 3. Yeah, because that was what it was originally intended to be. But like, I was really sad. Yeah, Joe Hill kills Tom Atkins. Yeah, little Joe Hill, little 8-year-old Joe Hill. Hey, Cat Scapula, what's up? Are you the same Count Scapula on the TikTok? Been meaning to ask. Yeah, no, that oh god, that first Creep show is so good. Even the opening, you know, kid looks to the window and there's the creeper. The only problem I have with the Creep Show Shutter show is I wish the creeper talked. I wish he talked. You know, I know they were probably worried that it would make him a little too much like the Crypt Keeper, but I'm like, nah, man, he needed to talk. You know, he needed to say like, you know, he opens the comic and then he says like the first few lines, you know, and then like the last few, you know, get someone. I don't know who you could have gotten at that period of time, like you couldn't get John Kassir for obvious reasons. He's already the Crypt Keeper. Um, who could you have gotten? Someone with like, I want my... Actually, Clancy Brown. You could have gotten Clancy Brown to be the voice of the Creeper. You know, that would have been fantastic. You know, all he has to do is like ghoul up his Lex Luthor voice and you're there. Hell, you could have gotten Richard Mall, the guy who did fucking Two-Face from Batman the Animated Series. Yeah. You actually wanted him to talk, you know. even if you didn't see the puppet's mouth move that much, like you wanted to hear him, you know. Oh, looks like this tawdry little tail is called gray matter. Or Tony Todd. Or Tony Todd could got Tony Todd to be the fucking creeper, voice of the creeper. That'd been fantastic. The other thing I was a little sad at is that for some reason they didn't use, whether they couldn't get the rights to it or whatever, they didn't play the theme from the 80s movie. You know, dun 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 dun. Keith David also would have been amazing. Yeah, Keith David or Ken Foree. You know, could got Ken Foree to do it. So I'm like, come on, man. You know, because the Crypt Keeper is a very particular voice. You know, he talks like this. You know, the Creeper could have been a little bit more. A little bit, yes, like yeah, like fucking like Megatron from Beast Wars. That'd have been okay. Oh yes, we call this little number, you know, a night in the alley. Oh, Jeffrey Combs. Oh, that could have. Hmm. Hmm. Actually, no. The Crypt Keeper. Crypt Keeper's the OG. Because here's how it goes. The Crypt Keeper was created for the original Tales from the Crypt comic books. You know, because he's like a movie host, right? Because movie hosts had become a thing in the 50s. And so they're like, well, we should have a host. Like, we'll make this guy, he'll be the Crypt Keeper and like, you know, all that jazz. And so he's the OG. But the Crypt Keeper that you know and love doesn't exist until they do the HBO show. You know, Tales from the Crypt, you know, like that one. But yeah. But you do like the Creeper, you do the Crypt Keeper, but he's a little more, got a slightly deeper, sexier voice, you know? You know, little more serious, you know, still really cheesy, but, you know. So yeah, the Creeper is based off the Crypt Keeper. Yeah, that's right. Because it was the Haunt of there was Tales of the Crypt, which had the Crypt Keeper. There was the Haunt of Fear, um, which I think was the Witch, and then there was the Vault of Horror, which had the Vault Keeper. Yeah, let's see. The Vault the Vault of Horror. Oh. Oh, okay. No, I got it wrong. In the Vault of Horror had all three of them. It had the Vault Keeper, the Old Witch, and the Crypt Keeper. The irony being the Vault Keeper looks a lot closer to what the Crypt Keeper, what you would think of as the Crypt Keeper. Um, no, it looks like all three of them were actually, all three of them hosted those comics. The Crypt Keeper, the Vault Keeper, and the Old Witch hosted all of them. Oh. Yeah, as I remember, they were all running concurrently. Man. Yeah, sorry, going a little bit down memory lane. Crispin Glover would have been a good creep too. Yeah, he might have been a little too close to the Crypt Keeper, but you never know. You never know. Like Crispin Glover will surprise you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Spellman residence from the Sabrina, the terrifying adventures of the haunting, the terrifying was it the terrifying world of Sabrina. Yeah, it was definitely inspired by the House of Mystery. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That's it. Yeah, clearly. Yeah, it was clearly the House of Mystery, which was a comic. There's a house that appeared in a comic called House of Mystery, hosted by Mr. E. Let's see. Where is. Oh, actually, maybe it was. Oh man. No, no, no. Cain and Abel were not introduced in Sandman. There was DC had a comic called had like two other comics. One was called House of Secrets. That was hosted by the character of Abel, and I forget what the other one was. Yeah, let's see. There was the House of Secrets. That is where Swamp Thing was introduced. The House of Secrets. Oh wait, no. Apparently, Kane hosted the House of Mystery. So who did Mister? So who did? Where did Mister E come from? Oh, he hosted a comic called Secrets of the Haunted House. Huh. You know, like Mr. E, he would like, I remember he would sing jazz music at you, you know? He would sing like jazz tunes at you. Like jazz and gospel tunes, you know? Man. Yeah, taking me a bit down memory lane here, guys. Damn. Huh. Let me see if I can find that. Elvira House of Mystery. Oh. Huh. Yeah, they apparently redid like House of Mystery as Elvira's House of Mystery at one point in the 80s. Okay, that makes sense. God, I remember one of the games I wanted to do. A game I wanted to do was it was called there was this game that had this really cool idea, but it didn't go very far. It didn't get very popular. Which was it came from the late show, and I wanted to adapt it. I wanted to change it, into a role playing game that I wanted to call Tales from the Terrorverse. And the idea is that everyone is playing a horror archetype. Yeah, like one of the archetypes would be like the groovy hero, which is it's fucking Ash, or just Bruce Campbell. Um, I was like the groovy hero, the final girl, the slutty one. But one of the classes was the host. And the host is essentially the mage. The host has like reality bending powers because they're a horror movie host. They have the power of the movie itself. They can't change the plot. They can't change the plot. But they could like call for an edit or a commercial break, or they could erase a critical hit with a power called not on broadcast. Like you could erase like a critical hit by basically saying this is the television cut. That doesn't happen. There was one thing that was desperately in search of a mechanic, though. Like this might actually work a little bit better as a board game. Which was one of you is secretly the killer. Yeah, edited for time. Yeah, yeah. Another one that would have been good for that is a sponsorship deal. Like you can choose to have certain items show up in the game because the movie has a sponsorship deal or the show has a sponsorship deal, but they get like really ridiculous. Like one would be like soft drink. Soft drink heals somebody, right? But it could go all the way up to like, like Spaceballs to flamethrower kind of levels. Yeah, yeah, a little like Betrayal on the House on the Hill. And then it would get like even stranger because you would not only have the horror movie host, um, you could discover you're actually a character from a comic book, and you get comic book powers. Yeah, Cheddar Goblin. Like you could just summon anything as long as it's branded with Cheddar Goblin. Yeah. GL, you're getting it. You're getting it. You're getting where I wanted to go with it. The black guy. No other character could die before he does. Oh! Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that would be a hard one for a role-playing game. Oh, I don't know if I could do that one. That might be a little too hard for role-playing games. You don't want a player to just be ass out. Maybe a better way of doing it would be like there's like a 50% chance that any monster on screen will attack you first. Epiphany's Realm, thanks for the donation, man. Thanks for the donation. And yes, I've read a lot of the Hellblazer comics. Hmm. Yeah, one of the ideas, as far as the experience was concerned, the idea is that if you do a campaign, it's supposed to be like a series. It's like a yeah, what they don't call it a series when it's movies. What do they call it? A legacy, not necessarily a trilogy. But you know what I mean. Like like you're in Friday the 13th, you're in Nightmare on Elm Street, you're in Leprechaun. Um, yeah. Like if you drink or like like if you drink, like your courage goes down. Sorry, your courage goes up, but like your attacks go down. If you smoke pot, you're immune to fear, but you're also slow. Yeah, like if you have sex, you get all your health back, but like there's like a percentage chance that like the next attack gets an automatic critical hit on you. Franchise. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, franchise. And the classic change up was going to be in space. It's like you got to do the in space. And the characters are intended to kind of die, so some of the experience actually goes with the player, and the player is considered to be an actor in the franchise that's playing a different character. One of the, and at that point, like you have like one or two, like you have a couple of things that you could do. And like if you make it to the second adventure, whoever dies can come back as a character with psychic powers. Oh, we're discussing like the of the many RPG ideas I had, one was called Tales from the Terrorverse. And it was the idea that it was a universe that ran entirely on like horror tropes. but instead of like playing like, like the fighter, the thief, the whatever, it's like the archetypes are the groovy hero, the survivor girl, um the jock, and the movie host, with the movie host basically being the mage. But if you make it to the second adventure, the second movie, then you could introduce like the psychic, because that's something a long running horror franchise will eventually get to. The person with psychic powers. In fact, I think the only one that didn't do that was Nightmare on Elm Street, because like Freddy's kind of psychic already. Yeah, carryover XP. If you earn this much XP, then your next character can have you can get psychic powers. Whether that's your character all of a sudden awakens to them, or your next character just starts with it. And like each player is considered an actor. So when they bring back another character, it's a different character, but you're like, wait a minute, isn't that? No, the psychic doesn't have retcon powers. The host does. The host is the one that has retcon powers. Unless we get into the really advanced stuff, at which point we have the self-insert director. Yeah, Halloween has psychic powers. It has it in the 5th movie. Yeah, well, it's usually either 3 or 4 where you go into space. And like the game master is supposed to choose the reoccurring thing. You could do, just zombies, a slasher, aliens, tiny terrors. That was another one. So like critters or Puppet Master. Yeah, it's a horror tropes RPG. Yeah. So like the game master just creates the reoccurring thing. Werewolves are a little harder. You could do it, but it couldn't be the same werewolf, if you know what I mean. Self-insert director should be one of the monsters. No, the self-insert director and should be like, if you do it the opposite way, where you're playing the monsters in a horror movie, like if you kill the self-insert director, you fucking gain more XP. I think one of the others in that one should be Stephen King cameo. Like if you kill Stephen King, he's worth a ton of XP in the movie. Yeah, the dream warrior dream thing would be considered a psychic. That those are psychic powers, but here's the thing: they are psychic powers that all the characters have, which is a little bit different than like Carrie or like the girl from Friday the 13th Part 7. Ooh, one of the others could be the possessed girl or possessed child. You know, basically Reagan from Exorcist. But you give like but they have like all kinds of like demon powers, but they're but they're physically just a little kid. Yeah, Firestarter, another great example. Well, if you encounter Stan Lee, then you're not in a horror story. You're in a Marvel movie. Yeah. While we're having this lull, hey, I want to remind you to hit that like button. Subscribe. Imaginary child's friend. No. Yes. 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 That could be one of the child characters. Like you have an imaginary friend that helps you. Like Rex from New Nightmare. Like you just, as long as you have the stuffed Tyrannosaurus, there is a giant Tyrannosaurus that will come with that you can summon that will attack things. Dick Miller. Oh shit. Would the spirit of H.P. Lovecraft still be racist? Oh, in any fucking world I put him in, he would be. He'd still be racist as fuck. Jello campaign would be a little harder, but what we could do would be I would probably encourage that for the first adventure. And then the guy just gets increasingly ridiculous. You know, like in Friday the 13th, in the first Friday the 13th, it's just Pamela Voorhees. You know, but then you do the sequel, and now it is Jason. He comes out of the water. Yeah, Rex. Yeah, Rex would actually be like a magical monster. You know, there's actually a comic at one point called "The Stuff of Legend," which is all about a bunch of toys saving their kid from the boogeyman. And it's actually a little serious. Like it has this very like like kitty. It's the toys in the room. Um, but the first thing is that the the first thing that happens is that the teddy bear is grievously wounded by the boogeyman. And all the toys are terrified of the boogeyman. They're terrified of the boogeyman because he can defeat the teddy bear. And the teddy bear is like the most powerful. You know, it's like no, he not even teddy bear could stop him. You know, like that kind of thing. But it's a very like it's a serious horror. But it's a serious story. But it uses toys and stuffed animals as the heroes. A breast expansion mechanic for the hammer. You get to make a cleavage power save. You know, I don't know what it would do. It'd probably give you more screen time. Like he could only do it a certain number of times, but unless you to like temporarily heal health, but it will run out. Yeah, oh, the animal companion. Yeah, the thing you get an animal companion, but like at any time the game master can kill the animal companion if he doesn't want the current attack to be fatal on another character. Like like that character doesn't take damage, but like the heroically gets in the way. Back in 2020, Disney was looking to make a film adaptation of the stuff of legend. I'm not surprised, but I find myself going like, man, I don't know if fucking they'd be able to do that because you got to be able to get into some like Don Bluth darkness. You know what I mean? Like it's got to have that like Return to Oz feel to it, where everything is like creepy, but like in a little kid way. Man. Like one of the other things that I would like, yeah, no, you just have to like do some terrifying like Secret of Nim fucking like thing for the boogeyman, you know? Oh, the Leica Studios? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they could do stuff of legend. Yeah, Henry Selick, his team could do stuff of legend easy. Well, I mean, not easy, but I know they could do it. You know, they've done that kind of shit before. You know, they did Paranorman, so like they could do stuff of legend. Oh yeah. Oh, Del Toro directing stuff of legend. Holy shit, that'd be amazing. Such a great concept. Yeah, I love. Oh God, that would be so great. Yeah, get Don Bluth like fucking horror and sadness in there. Yeah, you're good to go. You know. Get a bit of that like fucking when Brutus shows up and fucking Secret and him. You know, he's just like ah, oh my God, he's terrifying. You know. Yeah, see, that's why when someone said like have like Leica Studios or Henry Selick do it, like I'm like, oh no, perfect, perfect. Stop motion. Oh man, I one of my big like issues with what I'm doing now, uh the RPG, it's not the RPG itself. Uh it's that how to put it, man. I don't think the horror audience and the RPG audience have a lot of intersection. It should. It should, especially given the popularity of like Vampire. Um Fable. Oh, as far as Fables is concerned, Wolf Among Us, that's the adaptation. Wolf Among Us is I think Wolf Among Us is better than any of the comics. I really do. Like Fables is okay, but Wolf Among Us is that is a cut above. Yeah, I really like Telltale Games' Wolf Among Us. RPGs always interconnect through a membrane called metal. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, so like the difficulty I'm having is I either have to convince the audience that the RPG audience to adopt this game, or I have to find a way to attract the horror audience to it. And the problem is that everything's a silo right now. You know, it's really hard to find people who are at the intersection of horror and RPGs. Like, even people who like horror games don't necessarily like horror movies. It's weird. So it's one of those, I would have to build it. Oh my God, that is such a daunting task. Like, millions are spent in attempts to do that. You know, so much money is spent attempting to do that. I don't know if that's possible. Damn. Do an RPG based around street trash? Well, in a way, I'm kind of doing that. Yeah, I would actually say that Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Ryle, I think I would. I would want to court the horror crowd a little bit harder. That could be hard. You know, that could be really hard. Yeah, gonna have to really pick my battles there. But it's possible. I think it's possible. Yeah, let's see. Where are we? Oh, I'm gonna have to go in a little bit because I got some filming to do with the old horror guru. So hey, you know, hit that like button. Yeah, hit the subscribe if you want. If you want to donate, that's super chat. It ain't too late. It ain't too late. You can still do it. Still do it. I'll still be here for a few. If you want to do something a little more on a monthly basis, there's that link to the Patreon. You know, I appreciate it each and every single fucking time. You know, I want to particularly call out Epiphany's Realm for donating those 2 British pounds. Let's see. RL says, I didn't have a lot of interest in RPGs until I found out I was doing Babylon. Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, it's a very different. There have been horror RPGs before, obviously. You know, but it was like they came together briefly for a brief moment in World of Darkness and then kind of went their separate ways. You know, that connective tissue wasn't maintained. That means I would almost certainly have to do Dragon Con. Because they have an RPG and a horror track at that convention. I would definitely have to do Dragon Cons. Whew. Probably also Mad Monster Party, because even though that has nothing to do with RPGs, it is a big, like, schmooze fest. Means there are a lot of parties and hanging outs and things like that. Could be some opportunities there. Now it's just all a matter of getting that all to work. Getting everything to work. And the first thing I got to do is finish the manuscript, which I think we're pretty close to. Thank you, fucking blonde artist. You are a prince among men, or princess among women, or a genderqueer among everyone. The blessed $6.66, the perfect amount. The perfect amount in my mind. And there it is on the screen. You know, yeah, I got to finish the manuscript, and I think I got to figure out what I should write. I think is the thing. Like, what's the player going to need? And how best to present it? Because a lot of this stuff is written out, just not. Yeah, I'm closing in on the last third. Yeah, the last third is almost complete, but like that's when, how to put it, the last bit's the hardest. Last bit's always the hardest, no matter what you do. You know, so I'm going through the hardest part of writing this damn thing. And for some reason, that's the set. The thing is when I'm running the game, it just comes. It just comes. I know what to put there. I know what to do. But thinking about I don't know. Maybe getting it all. Maybe I'm. Yeah. See, even talking about it, I'm like, I turned the Tasmanian Devil. You know, like words start failing. Yeah, I agree. Good enough is better than perfect. You know, as far as on the production side, it's better than good. It's good enough. So, yeah, maybe I attack it that way. I should be figuring out what's good enough. I think I'll do that. Like, just sit down for a bit and like, okay, well, what's good enough look like? Yeah, I gotta describe the world and give ideas about how it operates. I think that would be good enough. Making sure the GM knows how some of this shit fits together. Oh! Thank you, George. Thank you for donation, George. Once again, 666. All my love to you, hail Satan. Gentlemen, do evil. Yeah, give him a way of how the society works. Yeah. No, I think I'm at the point where, like, thinking about what's good enough is probably the right course of action. Yeah, I think blonde artist. I think you're onto something. I think you're right. That does seem better. That does seem like. Yeah, I'll spend some time figuring out what it is that motherfuckers need. You know. Oh, Ed Wood. Fascinating fucking guy, but like such a terrible movie, such a terrible director. You know, but I think maybe porn was what he was meant to do, to be totally honest, because that's what he spent the rest of his latter career doing. And apparently he did pretty well. You know, he made a living for himself that way. Yeah, that's my mantra as an artist that takes commissions. All right. Plot is an interesting beast because the plot ain't the story. That's something I've discovered. Plot ain't story. Plot is like the written adventure. But you don't play role-playing games. Okay, so you don't know. Okay. Plot is what happens. The story is kind of what emerges. You know, the plot is part of the plan. You know, it's the skeletal structure. The story is the flesh and the blood and the everything else. Yeah, I have a soft spot for Orgy of the Damned too. Yeah, obviously. Plot is real simple. Plot is real simple. What's a story about? Let's take The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. What's the plot? Guys in a remote outpost encounter an alien creature that can turn into anything. They begin to suspect each other. They get worn down. And by the end, there are two of them left, and neither of them knows if the other one is human. That's the bare bones of the plot. Those are the big moments, you know. And the reason a movie uses a 3-act structure is because an act takes... It's hard to get an entire act down to less than 30 minutes. You know, it is. It's really difficult. It's why a lot of hastily written television is so bad, because they just got to get done. You know, that's why the limited series is so much better. You know, because an act can be... A plot act can be like an episode and change. You know, you can make it much longer. Now, you have the individual episode acts, but those are more gradual. Those are less steep. But, like, figure out the major things that happen, then create a couple of, like, 2 substructures within each act. And know how many acts you're going to have. For example, sometimes a short story only needs 1 act. You only need that bare bones plot. You know, because it's only going to be like 20, 30 pages. 20, 30 pages. Hell, it might even only be... Even if it's like 80 or 100, you might still only need your bare bones. When you start getting into things that are longer than like a half hour or bigger than a short story, which I don't recommend starting with, you will think you are failing and you will not see how you are learning. But that's your plot. Your story is where the characters go. The story is where the characters take you. You know where you're leading them. You're like, all right, they start here. I want to get them here. You know, and bear in mind, the ending, while it's part of the plot, that can emerge. It's always okay to revise the plot. But it is best to revise the plot either when it's really obvious, A, or B, second draft. Because in the words of Neil Gaiman, the second draft is the art of making it look like you knew what you were writing from the beginning. First draft, you got no idea what's going on. You got a plot, some characters, and that's it, baby. Don't bother getting it right the first time. Get it from start to finish. Look at it. See what emerges. And go like, I should have done this. This is what should have happened. And then make it happen. You're the writer. Oh, yeah. Oh, Michael Pondsmith has some great game master advice. His best advice is this. There is no such thing as giving the player too much power. Why? Because you're the game master. You're God. Girl gets attacked by European-style vampire, then takes vengeance as a Filipino-style vampire. Oh, see, you already got some interesting shit right there. Because right there, we can establish a couple of things. One, if you get bitten by a vampire, the type of vampire you're turned into has something to do with bloodline rather than vampireness. Oh, you're doing it at novel length? No. Write a short story. Write a short story first. Have her do a simple thing. You know, it could start with her origin, right? You know, but if you wanted to extend into a novel, then the end of the story is her resolving to kill this guy. You know, that's the resolution of a short story. I am going to kill this guy. You know, while the short story is her emerging as a vampire, trying to get revenge and failing. But she doesn't fail so bad that she can't try again. Yeah, you can't fix anything in the second draft except a blank. You can fix anything in the second draft but a blank page. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it, Stacy. You know, yeah. So don't sweat plot. Don't sweat plot. Like, plot's all over the place. You know, a really good way that a lot of writers get started on something is to take an already written thing that they know very well and flip it. For example, this was actually a good example, which was a crime lord decides to leave a criminal organization, but his two children and some of their friends join it, and he has to convince them to stop. That's Star Wars in reverse. Yeah. First half of the story, she tries to get revenge and then fails. Yeah. Do the short story about that. Because that can clearly be expanded into a novel. But if you get the short story right, then you got a short story. You got a short story, and then people could be like, well, if people are like, well, I want to know what happens next, then you write the rest of it. Yeah, rather than write down every idea, focus on the ones that stick with you for months. Yes, absolutely agreed. Agreed. For some reason, like, a couple of the ideas that still stick with me that we've had on this show were the remake of Chopping Mall. The remake of Chopping Mall, where it was a fully automated Mall of America. Then kind of turns into Aliens with people in a mall. I still like that one. I still like that one a lot. Then there was Leatherface meets Blake Placid, where Leatherface has to rescue the crocodile. That I thought that one was pretty good. And then, of course, Godzilla versus Jason. Or Jason versus Godzilla. Where Jason becomes, like, you know, huge because of, like, nuclear radiation. And then he fights Godzilla. You know, but first, he has to get the world's largest machete from Wisconsin, you know, on display, world's biggest machete. You know, come see. Yeah, focus on the ones that stick with you, because those are the ones that have captured your interest. Garbage Day. That's right, Dexter. All right, I gotta go because me and the Guru have got to record some vlogs, but I'm glad y'all came down. And oh yeah, Bambi vs. Godzilla is so classic. Yeah, that's it. That's what you get. You know. Oh man, so I gotta go. We gotta record. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the whole Slut Pit for coming down and everyone in it. I especially want to give a hand and a hail Satan to George Version, That Blonde Artist, and Epiphany's Realm for their donations tonight. Those donations will help fuel future programs. I guarantee it. You know, give a like. And I'll see y'all the next time. Follow me on the Twitter, the Instagram, and the TikTok. It's right down there. Also, I'm on Blue Sky. If you got a Blue Sky once, just count Jackula. Easy, easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Until next time, Avistanas Disco Inferno. Remember to wash your ass. And Satan and I love you very much. Hail Satan.